Good evening, everyone. We are back once again with the last and final part for this chapter, the human eye and the colorful world. This is the third part, and this is the last part. In the first part, we have understood the different parts of the human eye and the labeling and the functions. And in the second part, we have also understood about the various vision related defects and their correction. And we have also understood the experiments carried out by Sir Isaac Newton related to the prism and how he found out that the white light, is made up of 7 different colors, Vibgyor, and how he has done the inverted prism experiment as well. And we also understood the formation of rainbow, wherein the tiny water droplets act as prism. Now let us see the different atmospheric refraction effects that we see in nature in our day-to-day life. Like, let us start with understanding the twinkling of stars. How does the star twinkle? So basically the twinkling of stars is done due to atmospheric refraction of starlight. So whenever starlight will enter our atmosphere, it will undergo continuous refraction. Starlight undergoes continuous refraction, and it occurs in a medium of gradually changing refractive index. So basically the refractive index is increasing, okay, for the starlight. The atmosphere will bend the starlight towards the normal. See, I'll just explain. This is the star. Its light is coming and it's getting bent. It's not a straight thing. So we get to see it somewhere here. Apparent star position is not the real position, but the position where we see it. This is the real star position. Due to refraction of light, we are seeing the star at this apparent star position, which is not the correct position, and it happens due to atmospheric refraction. The star appears slightly higher above than its actual position when viewed near the horizon. Apparent position of star is not stationary. It keeps on changing slightly due to varying physical conditions of the atmosphere. I hope this effect, the twinkling of stars, is clear for the students. Let's move ahead. The stars are very distant, so they approximate point-size sources of light. As the ray paths of light comes from the star, it goes on varying slightly. The apparent position of star fluctuates and the amount of starlight entering the eye flickers. It is the twinkling effect. Planets. Why the planets do not twinkle? This question is asked in exam. Why the stars twinkle but the planets do not twinkle? The planets do not twinkle because they are very close to the Earth and thus seen as extended sources. If a planet is considered as a collection of many point-sized sources of light, the net variation of light entering the eye will be zero. So it nullifies the twinkling effect. Okay. Now let us see. Basically, they can just ask the twinkling of star phenomena, why it happens, and explain, and why the planets do not twinkle. The answer is because they are very close to the Earth, and the apparent position of star is due to the refractive index changing, and due to the starlight getting refracted and bending. So we get to see the apparent star position higher than its actual position. Now let's move ahead and try to understand another important phenomena that occurs due to the refraction of light. We get to see an advanced sunrise. The sun has not risen, but we see the sun. That's an advanced sunrise. And delayed sunset means the sun has set, but we still see the sun. This happens due to atmospheric refraction effects. The sun is visible to us about 2 minutes. The sun is visible to us about 2 minutes before the actual sunrise and about 2 minutes after the actual sunset because of atmospheric refraction. Actual sunrise means the actual crossing of the horizon by the sun. The time difference between actual sunset and the apparent sunset is about 2 minutes. The apparent flattening of sun's disk at sunrise and sunset is also due to the same phenomena. So what is happening? The sun has not risen. See, this is the observer at Earth. The sun is still below the horizon, but we see the sun in the sunrise. So we see the sunrise 2 minutes earlier than the sun rises. That is advanced sunrise. Delayed sunset means the sun has already set, but we still see the sun. Okay, so 4 minutes extra we are seeing the sun. 2 minutes during sunrise, advanced sunset, and delayed sunset is 2 minutes after it has actually set. Let's go ahead and try to understand the scattering of light. So what is scattering? Scattering means scatter like this. Like if you keep a road like this, all the sheep or the goat, if you put, they go like this in a straight path. When we increase the width of the path, they scatter. Okay, that's one of the way of understanding. Now we will understand this on the context of light. The path of a beam of light passing through a true solution is not visible. This is a true solution. When light passes through it, we cannot see the light passing, but it is visible through a colloidal solution. This is a colloidal solution due to scattering of light. When a beam of light strikes particle in the atmosphere, the path of the beam becomes the path of the beam becomes visible. The light reaches us after being reflected diffusely by the particles. Okay. So what is scattering? Scattering happens in the atmosphere, and it is happening because the light is reaching us after being reflected diffusely by the particles. Now the phenomena of scattering of light by colloidal particles or very fine suspension. When a beam of sunlight enters a smoke filled room, see, this is a smoke filled room, a beam of sunlight has entered it. Okay, the particles become visible due to scattering of light. When sunlight passes through canopy of dense forest, tiny water droplets in mist scatter light. Okay, color of scattered light depends on size of scattering particle. Very fine particles scatter mainly blue light, while large size particles scatter light of longer wavelength. If size of particles larger, scattered light appears white. Let's move ahead. Now, this question is asked in exam. Why is the clear sky blue? Why we see the sky as in blue color? Why not some other color? So, size of molecules and particles in atmosphere is generally smaller than the wavelength of visible light. So, light of shorter wavelengths, that is the blue light. Where is blue? The blue light. Yeah, blue light has a shorter wavelength. Okay. So light of shorter wavelength is more scattered. So if something has shorter wavelength, less wavelength, they are more scattered than light of longer wavelength, red. So see, this is a wavelength. We start for red here and till here. The point when it comes back to its original position, this is a wavelength, this length. So red has the highest wavelength. So this is the least scattered light in the atmosphere. This is the reason why we have the traffic signal as red. Red is kept as a signal for stop so that you can see it from a long distance. The red color will not scatter. And when we come to blue, blue has a very short wavelength, so it will scatter very easily. That's the reason why our sky looks blue. This is the answer for the question, and it can be asked in exam. So the answer is light of shorter wavelengths, that is blue, is more scattered than light of longer wavelength. Red light has wavelength about 1.8 times greater than blue light. Thus, when sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the fine particles in air scatter the blue color more strongly than red. The scattered blue light enters the eyes. Now, let us move. Now let us move ahead. If the earth had no atmosphere, there would be no scattering. Then the sky would have looked dark, grey. Sky appears dark to passengers flying at very high altitudes. If we fly, we all would have noticed, as there is no prominent scattering of light. So when we are in a plane, when we are at high distance, we don't see the sky as blue, we see it as dark. Red is the least scattered by fog or smoke, so it can be seen in the same color at a distance. Therefore, red color is used in danger signal lights, as I just explained. Okay. Yeah. Let's move backward. The blue color of the sky and the reddish appearance of sun at the sunrise and sunset can be understood by a demonstration of a setup which is given below. Here, white light from a strong source passes in the following sequence. White light is passed, then there is a converging lens formation of parallel beam of light, transparent glass tank T2 containing 2 liters of clear water, circular hole in cardboard, converging lens L2, sharp image of circular hole is formed on the screen MN. So scattering of light in the colloidal, this is the colloidal. So it's just an experiment, okay, to demonstrate the scattering of light. Then there is one more experiment some people have done. Dissolve 200 grams of sodium thiosulfate hypo in water, tank 1-2 ml of concentrated H2SO support water, fine microscopic sulfur particles precipitated 2-3 minutes. As a result, blue light can be observed from the 3 sides of glass tank. This is due to scattering of short wavelengths. Observe the color transmitted light from 4th side of glass tank facing the circular road. Is observed that first the color red orange, then brown crimson red color on the screen. These are just experiments. Now let us see Light from the sun near horizon passes through thicker layers of air and larger distance in Earth's atmosphere. So the blue light and shorter wavelengths are scattered away by the particles. So only the light of longer wavelength reaches our eyes. So the sun appears reddish. Okay, why the sun appears reddish? Light from sun overhead travels relatively shorter distance. At noon, sun appears white as only a little of the blue and violet lights are scattered. So sun is nearly overhead, less blue light scattered away, sun appears reddish. Sun near the horizon. This is one more concept. Okay. So this can be asked, this question, that why the color of the sun at sunset and sunrise, like what is the color? Why the sun appears white? Why the sun appears red? All these questions, because light from the sun near the horizon passes through a thicker layers of air and largest distance in the Earth's atmosphere. So the blue light and shorter wavelengths are scattered away by the particles. So only the light of longer wavelength will reach our eyes. So there is a light of very long wavelength, only that will reach our eyes. So the sun will appear reddish because red has a higher wavelength. Okay. Light from the sun overheads travels a relatively shorter distance. At noon, the sun appears white as only a little of the blue and violet colors are scattered. So with this, we wind up this chapter. This was one of the most scoring and important chapters. Now, what are the important questions in this? You may be given the diagram of an eye and you may have to, label the parts and write their functions. So what is important? First thing, students need to, be strong with that eye diagram, the parts of the human eye, what are the functions, where are they present, how to label them. Then the most important part, or 100% questions can be asked from, is the defects in vision. What is myopia? What are the causes of myopia? How to correct myopia? Which lens is put in myopia? This question. Then same goes for hypermetropia. Same goes for same question can be asked for presbyopia. What is cataract? So these are some of the questions that can be asked. Then the questions can be asked about what is whip cure, how a rainbow formation takes place, explain the Newton's experiments that he carried out with the prism and the inverted prism. Then certain questions related to the atmospheric refraction, like why the sky is blue, a very important question, why the sky is blue, why we get to see the twinkling of star. Explain the advanced sunset and the sunrise and the delayed sunset. These are some of the important questions. This chapter is scoring. I request students to go through it in detail, watch our videos, go through different PPTs, read from Lakshmi Singh, Manjeet Kaur, do NCRT questions, do previous year questions, but make sure you are scoring from this chapter. This is a scoring chapter, and I request students to make the most of this chapter. With this, we conclude this session, and I really hope these 3 video sessions are hopeful for students in order to make them understand this chapter in depth and help them to score well in their board exams. Okay, thanks a lot, and we will be back soon with another chapter of class 10 CBSE science soon. Thanks a lot.